I was wondering, what are some of the trickiest ports for you to sail into?
I got asked this question a lot, and the easy answer is there's no easy port anymore. With the size of these ships, the safety margins are getting less. And so every port, I would say, has its challenges, whether it's the weather, whether it's the other traffic, whether it's the confines of the port. So really, that's why it's great to be on the ship where we have so much power to look after the wind or the currents or anything else. So I wouldn't say there's a really difficult one. I've spent a lot of time in Asia over the years. I spent about 8 years going in and out of Shanghai, which is one of the busiest ports in the world. It's quite a long run up to the berth as well, about 5 hours each way from the pilot station, and really a lot of traffic as well in the Yangtze River. So that's one of them. But there's lots of tricky ports. San Francisco is another one. With the amount of current you get there. So we always try and time the ship's arrival on, towards slack water when you don't have as much current, which is why they put Alcatraz there. So they wouldn't have any escapees because of the strong current. So that's another tricky one, but there's lots around the world. Well, Star Princess is now debuting here. I'm not sure she might be programmed to go to San Francisco. I haven't looked, but she is going up onto the West Coast. She's going to go through the canal at the end of this first season here in the Caribbean, and she's going to go up the West Coast and up to Alaska. So I'm not sure, I can't tell you exactly if San Francisco's on the port call, but it could be. I've actually done the simulation runs for one of these ships going into San Francisco, so we have looked at it to take these ships in there. Yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned that your wife is from Canada. So my question for you is this: would she rather sit with you when you're parallel parking a ship or parallel parking a car?
I have to be careful, she might have snuck in, so I need to be careful what I say. We have this agreement, not that she likes it very much. We have this agreement, I drive for 6 months a year on the ship, so she tends to do most of the driving at home. But she's a very good driver, I have to say that in case she has snuck in. Driving a ship this size, we go into some tight spots, but then, again, everything is done by camera on the bridge. We can't actually see the side of the ship from the bridge wings, so everything is done by camera. We've got cameras everywhere. We also have people on stations fore and aft, so that we can keep an eye on things, and the officers with the radios on each end, they're giving us clearing distances as we go. So very much, as with everything on board the ship, very much teamwork.
Captain, you said you go around the ship with suggestions or getting input. I've been on a lot of Princess cruises, so for first-time cruisers, they're not going to know what I'm talking about. One of the things that we were so looking forward to was were sea days at 3 o'clock, the tea. Right? They had such good scones. I've been on every cruise and we've had a tea until this ship. So that was very disappointing. I guess they did it to save money, but in all honesty, it's a big miss for customer service. So we would like that back.
Captain, back in the galley, make your scones, all right?
I'm very partial to scones as well, clotted cream and what have you, so I do certainly take on board what you say. I believe afternoon tea has just been introduced on Star. I might be mistaken.
Yes, and someone that can actually answer your question will be here right after this, because I see the food and beverage director just out there. Unfortunately, the captain's not the person to ask the scones question to.
Certainly taken on board, and I will pass it back, but I think we've got Maria here, so...
Oh, is she going to...
She's going to stay here as well at the end. I see her just popping her head in, and she'll be able to answer that definitely for you.
We have...
Okay, thanks, Maria. Just in the nick of time, you see.
Okay, next question.
Yes, sir. In all your years of captain, what was the worst situation you had to manage?
So I've been in some rough seas in my time. We try to avoid those, as we say, but some places in South America, for those of you who've been down there, can get a bit rough, especially on the West Coast. I was on the Star Princess quite a few years ago, before I made captain, so it's probably about 18 years ago. These ships are obviously built for very high seas. We don't like to do that because passenger comfort is very much what we're looking for, and to look after all of you. But I was in, once we poked our head out, we were going northbound towards Valparaiso on the Star Princess, and we were in 15-metre seas, which is about 45 feet. So that's the highest seas I've been in, which is a normal question I get asked.
I love rough seas, Captain. It's like a free roller coaster. It truly is.
Most people here probably disagree with you. Yeah.
The ship's very quiet. I remember we did rough seas once, and we were doing a show that night, and we came out here and there's only 10 people in the audience. I greeted them all by name and said, "Hi, welcome to the show." It's amazing.
It's very smooth with the Azipods. We don't notice much vibration or anything on board, so it's great.
All right, next one.
You talk about knots, but I don't know what that is. I know about feet. 1 to 5 is good for me. Over 5 is a no-no.
So knots, I think, so the speed we always, why we measure in knots is, goes back to the old days of sailing ships before we had the actual logs or GPS or anything else. And it was measured by throwing a rope over the side with knots, and with knots in it, and you'd measure how long it took to go a certain distance, and that's why it's called knots. 1 knot is 1.15 miles an hour, so our maximum speed is about 21.5 knots, which is about 24 miles an hour. That makes sense? So if you times a knot by 1.15, you get the miles per hour.
Or you can use ChatGPT.
Far easier these days.
Yes. I can type in how to drive a ship on ChatGPT and give me all the lists. It's fine. That's how I figured it out.
Good.
All right. Yes, next.
Okay, good morning. I just want to say, given the complexity, given the amount of systems, technology, everything that's on board here, what we don't see and what you guys do behind the scenes is incredible to keep this ship running the way it is.
And that's very much appreciated. We are the next generation ship, and there's lots of systems going on behind, as you say, behind the scenes, and a lot of knowledge, the engineers with all the systems and so on. So that's very much appreciated.
My question is this: in 2012, there was a ship that went run aground, and it was due to a miscalculation by a captain. And I'm just wondering, with all the systems, all the staff that are on the bridge and what have you, what's been done since 2012 to now for that never to happen again?
So first of all, I'm not going to mention the gentleman's name. I call him a gentleman. It's like a swear word. There's been so many things happen since that incident at sea. But even still, at that time, there were a lot of procedures in place that should never have happened. So I think that was down to personalities, really. Separate personalities on board and so on. We have moved on a long way from there. We have very great procedures on the bridge. And all of our officers go back to Sea Smart. Every couple of years, they go for a couple of weeks for training, and we refresh ourselves. I have to go back every so often as well. But we do have a great bridge team, what we call bridge resource management on the bridge, and it's the same as the airlines. We follow very much what the airlines do. So we don't have so much a rank-based structure on the bridge anymore. We have a role-based structure, and I like to think that my management style is open enough on the bridge that any officer, right down to even the lookout, can say something to me if they spot something or they don't think I'm doing it right, that people can tell me. Because as we know, human nature, we don't get it right all the time, and I make mistakes as well. So we very much rely on the team and the way we operate as like a safety net to pick up anything that we're doing wrong. So if I'm driving the ship into port, I'm going to drive in tomorrow morning. All the other officers get a good chance as well. The staff captain does a lot of driving. When you're in the role of navigator, which it is, you rely on the team around you. You are supported by a co-navigator. You have an operations director, which is overseeing everything that's happening. So he or she can step in at any time if they feel it's not going as per the plan. We also have an administrator on the bridge who looks after all the fire alarms and smoke detectors. We normally have a local pilot who has great local knowledge, although they don't take control of the ship. We still have responsibility for that. So sometimes the pilot takes the con of the ship, and they probably will tomorrow morning driving in. I'll do the initial pickup of the pilot. The pilot will take the con, and then once we're inside the channel, they'll hand the con back to me. I'll turn the ship around and back the ship up to the berth. So that's the way it works, but we're all very much a team, and we rely on input from all the team. We do a lot of briefings as well, and we do a lot of planning. So all the routes are planned well in advance. We have all sorts of safety corridors, safety limits. We do a briefing. I've got a briefing on the bridge at 4 o'clock this afternoon with all the deck officers and the engineers. We go through the entire next cruise, all the routes, where we plan to go, what speeds we plan to do, all the environmental limits and so on. And then before every arrival in port, so just after that briefing this afternoon, the team will then stay behind on the bridge and we'll do a briefing for arrival tomorrow morning. So we go through everything we plan to do. I'll do the briefing this afternoon as I'm doing the arrival tomorrow morning. I'll tell everybody what my plan is, what speeds I plan to be at certain points, and so on. And if we deviate from that, the other team members know, they know to speak up and say, Captain, we're outside the parameters you set. So it's all very, very well structured. We have an abort position before we make our entry into port. We go around the entire bridge. We make sure every single person's happy. We check with the engine room that they're happy. Otherwise, we don't go in. So everything is very well structured, and I like to think that situation, well, first of all, that should never have happened way back in those years, but certainly in these day and age, it should never happen.